Okay guys, so we're over here on chapter number 5 and we're looking at the plane figures quadrilateral. So we're looking here at question 6. So look at the add to basket icon below. So that's this one here, add to basket. On what kind of website would you find an icon like this? Okay, so most likely you'd find an icon like this on a shopping website. Okay, so you'd choose something from the website, and when you want to buy it, you'd add it to your basket. From the basket then, you could add other items, or you could just proceed to your checkout. So that's this icon shown here. The icon is based on a trapezium. So if you remember from our shapes earlier on in the week, a trapezium is this one here. And we said that it kind of looked like a triangle with a section cut off it. So what it says here is one pair of parallel sides. So these two sides are parallel and these two sides are equal in length. So this icon is actually based on a trapezium. So we can see our trapezium shape from this corner here down here, and we're given an 80-degree angle here, across, up at 80 degrees as well. We know that that's up at 80 degrees as well because we have a red dotted line through the center, meaning that this shape is symmetrical. So it can be folded from one side to the other across this line. So draw the icon to the dimensions given. So we're given dimensions here, so we want to draw this icon. So first thing I want to figure out is the overall height of this shape. And the reason I want to do that is because I want this there to be the same space between the top of my border and the top of my shape and the bottom of my border and the bottom of my shape. So I want this to be centered in my page. So to do that, I'm going to add up all my sides. So when I add 48, 10, 5, 12, 42 and 12, I get an overall height of 129 millimeters. Okay, 129 millimeters. Now, I also know that from the bottom of my border to the bottom, so from border to border here, is 224 millimeters. Okay, so 224 millimeters. Take away 129. Okay, is going to be 95 millimeters. If I divide that by 2, I'm given 47.5 millimeters. So I'm going to come up from the bottom, 47 and just 47. I won't do the half. I come up 47 millimeters, and I'm just going to draw a light construction line across my page. Okay, so essentially what I did there was I got the overall height of my shape, that's 129. I took it away from the space between the two borders, and that would leave me how much space is left without the drawing. And then I divided it by 2 to have half it on the bottom and half it on the top. So I've come up my 47 here, and now I want to find the center of my page. So I know that from border to border, left to right, is 400 mil. So I'm going to come in here, 200 mil, and just draw a light construction line through the center of my page again. Okay, and what that construction line is going to be this center symmetrical line. Okay, so I've measured into the middle of my page and I've drawn a line up through it. So that's going to be on that symmetrical line. If that's on the symmetrical line, I know that I need to go 50 mil to the left to get this point, because it's 5 plus 10 is 15, 25, 35, 45 plus 5 is 50. Or it's 100 mil altogether. This is symmetrical, so it's going to be 50 mil to the left and 50 mil to the right. Okay, so I'm going to measure 50 mil to the left, and then I'm going to measure 50 mil to the right. I'm going to mark both of them points, and I'm going to draw a firm line along the bottom. Okay, measuring 50 mil to the left, 50 mil to the right, and I'm going to draw my firm line here now. Okay, zoom in on this just a small bit now. So next step now is to find this line coming up here in my trapezium and this line coming up here in my trapezium. So judging by the drawing, I know that it comes up at 80 degrees to the left and up at 80 degrees to the right. Now it goes all the way up until it gets to this line here. Okay, so if you see the trapezium, it's actually continuing up here along that line until it gets to this point here. So 66 to get to this line, plus another 5 to get to this line. So I'm actually going to measure up 66 and draw a construction line horizontally across my page. And then I'm going to measure up 71. So 66 plus 5 is going to give me 71. I'm going to mark off both of them measurements, my 66, which is just here, and 71, which is just here, and that'll leave 5 mil between both of them lines. So this is just a very light construction line now, across like this, and across like this. Okay, so I don't know where they're going to stop. I don't need to go all the way to the edge. I'm just making a guess that I should just stop them somewhere around here and somewhere around here. Next step then is to measure my angle. So the angle of 80 degrees. So I'm going to zoom in here where I'm going to draw this. So the first thing I usually like to do is, from this point I want to measure the angle of 80 degrees. Now it can sometimes be hard just to distinguish exactly where that point is. So what I like to do is, from the point where I'm drawing the angle from, I just like to have a perpendicular line coming out of it. Just like that. And it just helps me with lining up my compass. So I'm going to actually do it over here on this side as well. Okay, so this for me now makes it a lot easier for lining it up. So I can actually leave it on my T-square as well. Just move that out of the way, and I'm trying to line it up just on that dot. So this crosshair here is going to be on that dot. So to do that, I'm just going to line it up like this and make sure that everything is lined up perfectly. So just there now, and I'm happy. And I'm going to measure 80 degrees. So starting from, we have to know what way we're going. So my 80 degrees is over here to the left. So I'm going to measure up 80 degrees. Over on the left side, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 degrees, which is just here. Okay, and I can fill in a firm line up until I meet my first construction line. So that was the dot that I had for my 80 degree angle from here, and I make sure I draw my firm line through that dot. Okay, like so. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I have my perpendicular line here. I'm going to line it up with the crosshair in the center of my protractor and measure up, this time over to the right, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So the big mistake here would be to measure up to the left, and I'd actually have a line coming in like that. So that wouldn't be my trapezium at all. Okay, so they're all firm lines, but don't forget to just continue this line up here and up here as a construction line as well. So that's very important, just to continue that up to the end. Okay, see how I've just continued that up now to the end. So next step for me now is to draw this shape on top. So I need to measure up 10 mil now from here and draw this rectangular shape in on top of my shape. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to this point that I'm just after continuing up here. I'm going to this point that I'm just after continuing up here, and I'm going to measure up 10 mil, draw a horizontal line across, and then draw in my rectangle. So to do that, measuring up 10 mil, construction line off to the right, and then drawing my rectangle. Okay, so it's going to look like that. So what I'll probably do here now is just to finish off the top of it. I know that it is centered here, and I know that this line is going to come up from the bottom, and it's parallel here and parallel all the way up to the top. So from this line here that I've just drawn, this horizontal line, I'm going to measure up 48, and I'm going to draw just a horizontal line, construction line at the top. I'm going to measure out there 5 mil to the left, because I know it's 5 mil here, and it's 5 mil on this side, it's going to be 5 mil on this side as well. And I'm going to draw this rectangular shape up on top as well, just to finish off the top of my shape. And then I'm going to work on, I suppose, the part of the basket that you'll be able to see through. So this line here, this one here, this slot here, this slot here, and this slot here. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with this. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to measure up 48 mil. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and 8. And I'm just going to draw a construction line like that. And I'm going to measure 5 mil to the left and 5 mil to the right. I'm just going to mark them 5 mil to the left, 5 mil to the right. And I can now draw in the handle, I suppose, of the basket. Okay, and I can actually project that measurement all the way down to the bottom of my shape with a construction line. So that's 5 to the left, and that's 5 to the right. And I can now check these measurements along the bottom of my shape here. So this is the bottom of my shape. I've already done the first measurement, which is 5 mil. Then I have 10, 10, 10, and 10, and then 5 to finish. So 5 mil to the left, mark that. Okay, so I've already marked that one, that's perfect. 10 mil, which is just here, 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 and 5 mil left over. And I can just send them up to the top of the basket, which is just here, with a construction line. Construction line. Construction line. And construction line. So that's my measurements to the left, and whatever happens on the left is going to happen on the right as well, because it's a symmetrical shape. So I'm going to go 10, 10, 10, 10 with 5 left. Okay, and those are my construction lines here now. So what I've done there is I've measured out the 5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 5, and 5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 5. So next thing I want to do is measure up 12 from the bottom of the shape and down 12 from this line. So see it here, 12 and 12. That's going to leave me with these slots being 42 mil in height. Okay, so we can see now our slots starting to appear. So there's going to be one here, one here. Okay, I'll just go back to your drawing just to make sure, one in the center, one here, and one here as well. So I'm going to start filling them in. I'm going to actually do the horizontal lines first. Just find it a small bit easier to do something like this. So this is where you have to be very, very accurate now and neat with your measurements and with your lines. Making sure that they start where they're meant to and finish where they're meant to. Okay, I have all my horizontal lines done. Now to do my vertical lines. And again, I can put my pencil on the point, move my set square over to it, and then draw my line. So pencil on the point, move my set square over to it, and then draw my line. Okay, so I have my slot here. So I continue that on now for the rest of my shape. Okay, and that's our shopping basket now finished. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions on that. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll talk to you again later.